Actually land in East Malaysia, but Wuhan, China sounds better. And basically all Asians look the same. Let's be racist and make that joke. Okay, the authorities are there for cleanup and to collect the alien samples for the tech millionaire owner of this operation, fucking Elon Musk. When they find one of the astronauts alive, they try to save him, but in the ambulance, some goofy shit launches out of him onto the paramedic lady. The ambulance crashes, she punches a hole through it and walks out, all poker faced and evil looking, while self-healing terrible injuries super fast. And cut to San Francisco, where Eddie Brock is a cutthroat investigative journalist that likes to ask the type of questions that can get him assassinated by the CIA. And his boss wants him to interview Carlton Drake, aka Indian Elon Musk, over good things, because Carlton has a lot of money and is paying to get some good PR after this spaceship crash thing disaster. Eddie hates that guy though and thinks he's a crooked, but his boss asks him to do anyway without asking about any Epstein lists or anything. Nice question. I'm gonna assume he had a valid reason to send in Eddie knowing how he is. Maybe he was the only one available, maybe Carlton asked for him specifically, but let's be real, it's probably because maybe he wants to move him. Anyway, Eddie agrees and has a hot date with his fiancée that works as a lawyer for a firm that was hired by Carlito Drake. When they go home to fucky then sleepy eepy, Eddie wakes up in the middle of the night to go snack and then sees her laptop just begging him to snoop around in it. So he does and finds evidence of Carlton Drake doing human testing on vulnerable people and killing them in his pharmaceutical company, which is a thing that got him rich in the first place. So next day when he interviews Carlito Drake, he starts off with the YouTube ad-friendly questions like, didn't you make a cure for cancer? Wow, how'd you get from that to exploring space? It hits him with the hard shit like, don't you also do unethical human testing with your drugs that end up killing people? Even name dropping some of the people that died from that email on his fiance's laptop. So Drake abruptly ends the interview and complains to Eddie's boss, obviously, who asks Eddie for his sources if he's so confident in them. Eddie obviously doesn't want to say, so he's like,
my sources and I made it the fuck up.
his boss calls him a dumbass and fires him. Then Anne, his fiance, also gets fired because they figured out that Eddie got information from her. She in turn also finds out that he snooped around in her laptop and got her fired. So she breaks up with him on the spot and leaves with her shit. Didn't the cup fall out when she dropped her box for dramatic effect? Where is that in the shot? Doesn't matter. Later, Drake receives 3 of his aliens because one of them got lost according to his knowledge. And he immediately starts testing them. 6 months later, we see him testing them on animals now, specifically rabbits. Apparently they morph into them or get absorbed by them and become part of them to be able to survive Earth's atmosphere because they can't do it on their own for very long. Apparently this process is called symbiosis, and Drake figures that if they're doing that to survive on Earth, then maybe humans can survive in outer space if they symbiosis to humans. Pretty sure I'm not using that word correctly, but you get it. The alien bonds to human. He orders his head scientist, Big Nose Girl, to start human trials immediately. She thinks it's too dangerous and too early, but he subtly threatens her to do so. She goes ahead with it and tests symbiosis on some homeless bitch, but the symbiote kills him pretty quick. Nose Girl is horrified. Drake's like, well, thanks to fentanyl, there's plenty more of them. Keep testing. Nose gets even more horrified. Meanwhile, Brock hasn't had a real hard time of it ever since the Carlito interview. He's living in a shitty apartment alone, having a hard time finding a job because his name has been tarnished and blacklisted. Then one day on his daily routine of saying hi to his favorite homeless person that isn't there and buying shit from the corner store, he notices that he's being followed by someone. And it turns out to be Dr. Snow. She gives him her card, tells him she works for Drake and that he was right. He's experimenting and killing people that don't know any better, signing legal documents, waiving their rights willingly because they don't know what it means. She doesn't want to go to the cops with this information because she's afraid of what will happen to her. That's why she keeps to Brock Lesnar, but he doesn't want anything to do with Drake, so he tells her to leave him alone and walks away over to Anne's place reminiscing or whatever, then runs into her, tries to get her back, only to find out that she has a new boyfriend who's a surgeon. So he goes to continue contemplating life on the Golden Gate Bridge, or maybe he wants to commit suicide, I don't know. But eventually he decides to call Dr. Snows to help her expose iCarly Drake. She picks him up and sneaks him into the Life Foundation, which is Drake's lab. And in the car she tells him to get down and hide from security, but inside the facility she just brings him in raw, with not even an attempt to hide him, as if there's no security cams or anything. At least try putting him in a box, solid snake style or some shit. Push him around in the car, cut a hole through the box, so he can take pictures of whatever he wants to do. Fucking dumb bitch, whatever. On the way to the main lab, she explains that Drake was scouting for a new planet suitable for human life, but on the way back, he found some alien cum and brought it back to Earth. Explains that they're symbiotes and a whole shebang. Then how he's testing them on random humans with no rhyme or reason, just hoping that they achieve symbiosis and but the symbiotes just keep going the whole time, they don't know why. She sends him into the lab to see for himself while she keeps security busy. He gets in there and takes a bunch of pictures of some failed tests, dead humans, more homeless people being fit on, and a dead symbiote, I believe, that I cannot show on screen because YouTube easily mistakes that shit for gore, and Age 6 anything that looks remotely like the top side of a Snickers bar. Then his favorite homeless person, who is one of them, starts screaming for his help. He tries to get her out by doing this.
I don't know how.
Dad, I'm Bud.
Let's count the smiles.
A banana! I see 1, 2, 3.
Amazon Freight can scale with you. Transparent pricing. Simple book.
Yeah, let's randomly finger the keypad of the cell without even thinking. What a great idea, you monumental twat brain fuck. How could that go wrong? It goes wrong, cause the wrong password or something. The alarm goes off, Homozone goes crazy, so he resorts to brute force and starts breaking down the glass between them with a fire extinguisher. At which point she attacks him, and some black goop transfers itself from her to him, and she dies. He's like, fuck it, and makes her run for it, getting past security with a surprising amount of strength, busting through doors, and tearing through fences while running away from them into the woods. They're chasing him down with buggies, shooting at him, so he disappears from view because he climbs up a tree real fast. Then somehow he can make it home undetected. I don't like these two concept they made here. First, the one with him suddenly being up a tree. I didn't even see him try to jump onto the tree before the cut. He just instantly teleported up there. I don't care how fast he can do it, I want to see part of it. And if I can see part of it, then this whole thing is a beauty. They can't just be like, oh, where'd he go? And the second cut where he just makes it home. How? Did he jump from tree to tree, find a road, call a cab, stop a car? I want to know. Anyway, he gets home really hot and hungry and starts eating whatever he can find in his house, then immediately throws it up and gets spooked by his face melting in the air and someone talking in his head. So he calls around to find out where Anne is because she's the only one he trusts, and he finds out she's at a fancy schmancy rich date with her boyfriend, so he goes over there to show her the proof that he found of Drake's bad doings, while sweating his balls off and acting all crazy trying to eat whatever he sees, but doesn't like any of it because it's all dead. So he jumps into the lobster tank to cool off and snack on some live lobsters. Dr. Boyfriend's like, something's clearly wrong with this lunatic, let me help. Takes him to the hospital to do some checks on him in an MRI machine, but its noises make him go crazy and spaz out, so he brings it off, apparently on some more tests that don't include noise, and sends him home. Meanwhile, back at the Life Foundation, Drake is super duper angry at the break-in and finds out that the intruder actually took one of his symbiotes, which gets him even more mad, so he tasks some people to find out who he is and retrieve it. Dr. Snows gets busted obviously by security camera footage. Why are you even still here, you dumb bitch? Don't you know exactly how dangerous this motherfucker is? You should be halfway across the country, but no, fuck that, halfway across the world. You should be gone. Aren't you a smart doctor, scientist person? More like dumbass, monkey brain, white vagina moron. Anyway, there's more bad news for Drake because the only test subject that was showing promise having bonded with the symbiote and stabilized his condition, no fever, no dying, no nothing, is now showing signs of organ failure, even though they were taking care of him and feeding him properly. The symbiote is still killing him from inside and feeding on his organs. They also find out that high frequency noise from 4 to 6 kilohertz hits the symbiote. Dr. Snows gets brought over to Drake so he can find out who she let into the facility. I struggle to believe that they don't already know from the security footage who the other person that she let in was. I mean, they know who Eddie Brock is and wasn't exactly hiding anything, so how do you not fucking know? Doesn't matter. Drake tricks her into telling him who she let in, then lets the symbiote use on her so she can be used as a test subject herself, and sends his men to go retrieve the symbiote from Eddie. He got a call from Anne and Dr. Boyfriend telling him that his lab results are back and they state that he has a parasite. Then after he finally tells his dickhead neighbor to stop playing the guitar so loud because it's hurting him and the symbiote, his apartment gets raided by the FBI, I mean Drake's goons. He wants to pussy out and give up, but the symbiote wants to fight, and they have this internal dialogue in front of them till the black cum takes over his body and starts fighting them, morphing parts of his body to be stronger and using them as weapons, then shooting goop at them and shit like that. Jumps out of the window to escape, more goons come for him. He uses his bike to get away, they launch kamikaze drones at him while he uses more of his goopy powers to escape, defending himself from those exploding drones by using a car door of his shield that miraculously is unharmed from the explosion afterwards. Similarly, the jeeps following him seem to take a lot of damage in one shot and have 0 damage in the next. Then he does a big jump off the rampy San Francisco streets and let's go with the bike with the dumbass. Or whatever, it could be an involuntary reaction, people do that sometimes. The symbiote poops him back to the bike. Drake is watching all this happen, he's amazed, like, oh my god, look, it's Chief Symbiosis, oh, fucking nerd. By the way, if Drake really wants the symbiote back, why is he risking damaging it by using suicide bomber drones? Is he retarded? Whatever. Eddie keeps fighting off the bad guys till finally gets T-boned by one of them, receiving many injuries, but then the symbiote kills them all, takes over his body, grows into this massive hunky Spider-Man with an N-word pass, and bites off the head of one of the bad guys while sticking his back with a shotgun. Then runs away, jumps into the water, and torpedoes over to a buoy, lets Eddie have his body back, and sticks out of his back in his goopy, jizzy form to have a small conversation with him. He's like, I'm Venom, and there's more of me, and we're here to take over the planet and eat a bunch of heads, and if you cooperate, you might just survive. Pretty sure the symbiotes have to continue eating live stuff to stay alive. He goes on, telling him that they're bonded now, he's a strong host, and he wants to use him to hop into another one of Drake's rockets and go to their planet, bring back a bunch of symbiotes to take over the planet with him. He also tells him that he knows everything about him because he's inside his head. But then in the scene after, Anne calls Eddie, and Venom says this. Shouldn't he already know if he's in his head? Also, Brock Lesnar is currently on his way to his old boss's office in the middle of the night to leave the evidence he got of Drake being bad on his desk. And not only does Venom understand and know why he's doing that because he's inside his head, but not know who Anne is, which is completely contradictory, but he's letting him do this. Why the fuck? Why aren't you not going immediately to the fucking rocket? Whatever. Eddie tries to get into the building, his old security guard buddy doesn't let him in. Venom wants to eat him, and Brock's like, no, he's my friend. And instead they climb off the building, and Venom gets to see how pretty the earth is from up there. Then they get into his old boss's office, and he leaves the phone there with a note, and they go back down using the elevator where there are a bunch of cops waiting for him because I guess his old friend called the cops on him. Or actually, maybe they were tracking him ever since he bit a guy's head off in the middle of the street. They turn to Venom from the cops, try to gas him out like the Jews, but that doesn't work because he's a fucking super alien. They handle deal with all the cops, and Venom tries to eat one of them, but Brock's like,
same old phone? Nah. Upgrade to the new Galaxy Z Fold 7.
We, the Beef People of Boone Dixie, united to make more perfect barbecues, do declare our dedication to you and to keeping savory traditions alive for the next generations. We are Winn Dixie. We are the Beef People.
Dude, I'm pretty sure he goes after these guys already. The fuck doesn't matter. Anyway, Anne shows up because she was looking for Brock and somehow knew to come up from here. She's scared of Venom, but then Eddie reveals himself like, it's me, I've been affected. Please help me. Look, an old caddy with torn up clothes and shit. You could really use a new shirt or something. You know where he can get it from? My merch store, where you can also get some funny merch yourself. I got High Boy Mona Lisa merch, stupid ratings merch, and much more. Make it good. Now back to her. She drives him over to the hospital. On the way, she says he needs to do another MRI, but Venom's like, no, I frequency noise and fire hurts. Then tells Eddie to apologize to her for what he did, because he might not get another chance. So he does that, but she realizes that someone's talking to him inside his head. They get to the hospital, Dr. Boykin's room for him, and MRI room, telling him that they have more detailed test results showing that his heart is getting really fucked by that parasite. Venom keeps talking to him in his head, saying that he can fix it, while Dr. Boykin's talking about getting the parasite out of him. Then Venom attacks the doctors in order to protect them both, and turns on the MRI machine. Eddie starts passing out, and some shots Venom out of his chest. The doctor locks the door and traps Venom under. Eddie's like, you killing me? What happened to we, bitch? I really want to sign asshole Venom leaves because he was wanting to be Venom. And while Anne and the doctor discussing what to do next, Venom escapes to the vents, finds that Doggy refuses to do it, and sees Rick's goons show up and pays Eddie to take him away to their lab. Because after the symbiote killed Dr. Schnoz, it died too, because it couldn't survive Earth's atmosphere alone, and none of the scientists noticed it would die. So he ordered Eddie to be brought back alive so they could study how come he is not dead after he reaches symbiosis. Then he himself got possessed by a symbiote, because the one that went to the Asian bitch from the start of the film went around eating live eels, killing people, jumping from host to host to host, took a flight to America, and came here to bomb the Drake. And apparently took like 6 fucking months to get it. Maybe because he's an alien, he doesn't know that planes exist and shit like that. Well, actually, he was inside the brain of an astronaut and a paramedic. Pretty sure they both knew what, you know what, I'm not overanalyzing this. Eddie is now in the position of Drake, who's asking him where Venom is doing a short evil monologue like, humans are bad, we just take, blah blah blah. I'm gonna make a better version of us that's human and symbiote. Then showing him he's got a symbiote up his ass too, named Riot. They figured that Venom is not with him, so instead of fighting his head off or killing him on the spot, they do the classic bad guy trope of letting his goons take him out to the woods and kill him in a really slow and stupid way to allow him a chance to escape, which is exactly what happens, because in the woods while Eddie's getting in his final few words, Venom keeps yoinking away the bad guys one by one until he gets to the main henchman leader bald guy and bites his head off while using Anne as a host. Then she French kisses Eddie while Venom tackles back to him. Eddie's like, damn, I'll help drop those. Then Venom tells him that they have to go stop Riot because they have to get onto a rocket, fly off and bring back the symbiotes to the world. Eddie's confused because he thought Venom wanted to do that too, but then Venom tells him that he changed his mind because he likes Earth now and on his planet he's a loser, and here Eddie's a loser but together they can do something more. Plus, Eddie's just so nice that he himself can change his mind. So they go off to stop Drake and Riot, who by the way had a short conversation before saying this. First, I have one quick question for you. First, how's immediately jumping into a rocket taking care of it? Second, why does Riot want Venom so bad anyway? Is it because he knows that it might stop them? Third, how did Venom know that Riot was real and about to get onto a rocket? Was he in the vents or something while Drake was interrogating Eddie? Can he sense that Riot is nearby and about to enact his evil plan or some shit? Doesn't it? Drake and Riot start looking for the rocket with his scientists in mission control who all feel like they shouldn't be doing this. One of them even tries to stop him, but Riot senses that and kills him and kills all other people in the room, doing a move similar to the Optimus Prime meme. They start the launch time and go off to get in the rocket. Venom's there with Eddie, who asks if they had a chance against him. Venom's like, he's got shit you've never seen. How's that possible if you can just morph into whatever he morphs into? I don't get it. Just say he's stronger, you fucking nubbed. Anyway, they intercept Riot and start fighting each other, morphing into all kinds of shit. Riot trips Venom off Eddie, but Eddie jumps back to him and we get this cool shot of both the humans fighting each other while the symbiotes are fighting each other at the same time, until they all join into a two-person, two-symbiote abomination that Riot controls. He tries to get into the rocket, but then Anne plays some really loud noise to the rocket's platform sound system or whatever, because she ran over to mission control to help Venom and Eddie. They all end up falling and disconnecting. The humans fight each other on the platform down there. Drake gets to Riot first and stabs Eddie in the chest with a big spike, then jumps up to the rocket and gets in. But then Venom gets to Eddie, heals him, and they use that spike to tear open the rocket while it takes off so it can explode, killing Riot and Drake on the inside, while Venom tries to sacrifice himself and protect Eddie from the fire and the fall by morphing into a parachute. By the way, rockets taking off are super fucking loud, so how did that not affect either symbiote? Doesn't matter. Venom lives after that, but Eddie keeps it a secret from Anne. His life gets better with jobs and interviews coming his way, and after an obligatory Stanley cameo, he makes a deal with Venom to be good guys who only eat bad people, and they eat a bad person who keeps robbing and bullying his favorite convenience store. And as always with Marvel movies, we get an after credit scene, 2 actually. One is of Eddie interviewing a locked up nut job Woody Harrelson for the sequel, and the second is showing us a couple clips from the Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse film, except they're in reverse order. This movie gets 41 goblins out of 55 drive-by ghouls.
You do remember me, right? Hey, come on, that is not nice. I have been reading your comments and responding.
Barry Kerwood Studio again with another feature our community is loving right now.
One of my favorite things is the CMS. That's an absolute dream. Everything is really good.
Everything that I need.
Huge benefit up with all.
Welcome to Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse that begins with Spider-Man giving a brief recap of his origin story which we all know by now. Also how he spent the last 10 years, and we are introduced to Miles Morales, a super smart kid that likes doing graffiti which really annoys his cop dad, and is going off to prestigious high school because he passed the test, won a competition, got a scholarship, something like that. We see him packing his bags to go stay in the dorms, which is dumb as fuck in my opinion because you live in New York, not fucking Kansas. You don't have to move into the dorms. Your house is probably 15 to 30 minutes away by subway or something like that. And he literally was going to go there on his own with all the heavy bags before his dad picked him up. But maybe it is really far away, whatever. His dad drops him off at this new school that Miles does not want to go to because he thinks it's elitist AIDS crap. Cop dad embarrasses him on the first day. We see him struggle to keep up with the demanding workload of his place over the next few days. He meets a cool blonde chick that one of his teachers notices that he's intentionally trying to flunk out of the school by scoring 0 out of 100 on a test that is only made up of yes or no questions, meaning that he knew all the correct answers and deliberately chose all the wrong ones to try and flunk out. Noob move, bro. You should have sprinkled in some correct answers to show that you at least tried. That's like cheating 101. Although you're not cheating, you're technically doing the opposite kind of sort of. If you're cheating off someone that always gets everything right, mess around with someone that works and gets some shit intentionally wrong, so it looks less suspicious. Same thing applies here, dumbass, but in reverse. Anyway, she fixes his grade and makes him write an essay about what kind of person he wants to be, but instead he sneaks out and goes to hang with his uncle Aaron that his dad likes to use as a bad example a lot because he thinks he's a loser or something. I don't know why. He seems pretty cool to me so far at least. They hang and Uncle Aaron shows him some terrible ways that he can apply on the blonde bitch. Sees some of his art and tells him he knows the perfect place where he can throw that shit up, somewhere his dad will never find it. So they go to that place, which is a secret spot in the subway. Miles starts putting down paint while Aaron watches one of them make you super spiders make its way over to Miles. So when he's done and they start to leave, it bites him while he's trying to take a picture of his art. He kills it and moves on. Not a single shit was given. Goes back to his dorm overnight. Obviously changes happen, and when he wakes up, he don't fit in his pants no more. His inner voice is way louder than before. And he's sweating bullets, which gets worse in front of the blonde hoe. Then when he tries to hit her with his uncle's terrible whiz, his hand gets stuck in her hair, so they have to cut it out at the nurse's office. He's super embarrassed by all that because of himself, and he's hyper aware because of all his powers now. Then he tries to escape from security, who's trying to bust him for sneaking out last night, but by doing that, he ends up in the security guy's office and panics so damn hard that he ends up on the side of the building half naked, and somehow able to make it back to his dorm and get in through the window. And although that happened outside in broad daylight and in school in fucking New York, blonde bitch, which is actually Gwen Stacy, is the only person to see this. How the fuck is that possible? Doesn't matter. He lands on a Spider-Man comic book of Spider-Man getting his powers and realizes that he is also becoming Spider-Man. He's like, no, this isn't happening. I'm just getting puberty. I'm fine. Seems like I'm going through puberty as well. So he starts running over to the secret subway spot looking for answers or copium. On the way he tries to call Uncle Aaron, but that goes straight to voicemail, and he won't dare call his father because of how much he hates Spider-Man and he might be turning into Spider-Man, so that's a no-go. Then once he gets to the graffiti spot, he checks and confirms that the spider is indeed admirable, and senses something going on nearby, finding an old defunct lab or control center. And as he enters it, he sees Spider-Man fighting a hulkified, dragonified Green Goblin. Talking about opening portals to another dimension. Miles tries to get away, but fate has other plans. He gets mixed up into the fight, falls into this big collider chamber where Spider-Man has to save him. They both sync up their periods, Spidey senses, and he's like, hey, you're like me, and promises him he'll teach him all the Spidey stuff right after he destroys this big machine and saves the day. But then he gets stopped by another villain, a purple guy called the Prowler. I don't know whether that name is more gay or cool. Whatever, it's both. He fights the Prowler, then gets pinned down by the Dick Goblin. Then some fat bald with terrible posture and nearby control room does the order to turn on the collider. I'm gonna explain some more about this guy real quick that only gets revealed later in order to save some time. See, this fucker's villain name is Kingpin, and his normal name is something Fisk. He's some sort of dirty politician, I believe, because he seems to be a rich nice guy in public, but in secret is a legal villain that fights Spider-Man all the time, okay? And one day while fighting him, his wife and kids saw that and found out the truth about him, I guess. Were disgusted and tried to run away, but in doing so got into a fatal car accident. Ever since he's been trying to find a different version of them in a different dimension by building the multiverse machine collider thing, even though it could destroy the whole city. Also, he blames Spider-Man for the death of his family. That's all. So Pig King turns on the collider and two beams hit each other. The city starts glittering out of it. Spidey tries to stop the machine, but then Green Goblin grabs him and shoves him into the center point of the two beams against the orders of Kingpin because it fucks with everything, makes it like unstable or something like that, and blows everything up, causing a massive shockwave blast across the city and EMPing it for a second. Everyone is okay though, except for the Green Goblin. Pretty sure he is killed and Spider-Man is heavily damaged. Miles runs over to Spidey and Spidey tells him to take the USB stick, override key things from up there and plug it into a control board to destroy the machine. If you don't do this, everyone will die. Promise me you'll do this. Also hide your face and press no one, blah 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 blah, all that stuff. Then tells him to go hide because Kingpin is coming. Don't worry, I'll make it out and come find you later. Kid goes to hide, Kingpin comes over and Spidey tells him that he knows what he's doing, it won't work. Your family's gone, you can't bring him back. So he does a big ground pound and kills him. Bro, how can he do that? I know Spider-Man is really hurt, but he's still super, and Kingpin is just a normal guy. It's a bit big, that bad. How does he do that? Doesn't matter. He notices Miles trying to run away, so he sends a Prowler after him. While Miles is able to lose him and go to his parents' house, they figure he came home because of that explosion they think was an earthquake scared him and he came here. Let him stay over for the night. Then it comes on the news that Spider-Man is diabetic and his secret identity is Peter Parker. I understand how you could have figured out his secret identity. MJ could have seen the body and confirmed who he was. I mean, she's giving a speech about him right now, but how'd they figure it out so fast? Kingpin gave the order to get rid of the body, right? I thought they would have burned the body, sunk it into the ocean, shot it into space, but it really seems like they threw it into the dumpster of the Daily Bugle. There's no way it's beneficial for them to have the people find out that Spider-Man is dead so fast. Although later we find out that This was a very high-tech Spider-Man, so maybe he had like a heart monitor that sent out a message to the world or charged out, something like that. I don't know. Okay, next day, Miles goes out and buys a shitty Spider-Man costume from Stan Lee. This is to a motivational Spider-Man movie from MJ, and sets about learning how to become Spider-Man from the comics, trying to leap off buildings, but instead trips off them, tumbles down and crash lands onto the Goober, aka the USB Spider-Man wheel. So he goes over to his grave to look for guidance, apologize, whatever, and this other dude sneaks up behind him. Miles gets startled and Alex shoots him away, knocking him out, but not before the dude shoots a web at him, temporarily connecting them to each other. He checks him out and realizes that this guy is another Peter Parker Spider-Man. We cut to this Spider-Man's backstory. He comes from a different dimension where the fucking Hugo is still going though. Damn, does this mean that Hugo's life never found the universe? Never mind. His story is very similar to this universe Spider-Man, except more depressing because he didn't want to have kids with MJ, so she broke up with him. He lost a bunch of money on investments, let himself go, and May died. Then one day a portal opened up in his house and sucked him up, then flung him into this reality where he is much more handsome, younger, and dead. Then he met Miles in a very shocking manner. The cops show up, so Miles tries to escape with Peter's unconscious body in this funny sequence where he uses Peter's web slings to attach to a train, with Peter incurring many injuries from the PDs smacking into everything in their way before landing in the middle of the street. No one gives a shit because it's New York, and Miles takes him over to Uncle Aaron's house, ties him to a punching bag to try and interrogate him and find information about him. Considering who Aaron turns out to be later on, this is very risky, but he doesn't know that yet, so who cares. In this next sequence, Peter escapes his bonds and tries to leave while glitching out because he's in the wrong dimension. Miles figures out that he's a Peter from a different dimension and wants him to teach him how to be Spider-Man, just like the dead one told him he was gonna do, so he can use the Goober and destroy Kingpin's glider and save the planet or New York, whatever. But Peter C-137 doesn't really care about Hellbound, he just wants to get back to his dimension by hacking Kingpin's glider using the Goober that he steals from Miles. But then he finds out that Miles broke it. He's like, fucking useless. Now I have to go make a new one. Thanks. Peter tries to leave Miles alone to save his reality by himself, but Miles makes him feel bad about that decision. And even though he's horrible Spider-Man, he's still a good guy and agrees to help him. Guilt tripping successful. By the way, pretty sure he's down the window and saw everything, but that's not important. Similarly unimportant, that I'm gonna mention anyway because I want to, is that Miles stops and squats next to his window to a puppy dog eye guilt trip Peter into helping, and he keeps changing position next to his window without moving his feet. Not only that, the window itself completely disappears in one shot, but as I said, that's not important, so who cares. After a quick pit stop for some boogies, they head over to Hudson's Valley where Alchemix HQ is, the company that has its name plastered all over the glider stuff and the Goober. Peter tells Miles to stay put while he goes in there and makes another copy of the Goober. These footsteps weren't there in the previous shot, by the way. As soon as Peter enters, Miles sees Kingpin alive, so he follows him in there because he refuses to stand idly by and watch Spider-Man die again. Something he tells Peter after bumping into his ass in the fence. They spy and head scientist lady is explaining to Kingpin that if they fire the collider again, it will create a black hole under Brooklyn. He tells her that she has 24 hours to recover property, and they leave the room while arguing some more, so Peter jumps down to hack the computer and do the goofy doodle shit. Miles tries to follow him down there, although he didn't really need to, and has a lot of trouble unsticking from the lights. Then falls down, allowing the scientist to their presence. While Kingpin has their left inside, they find out that Miles can also turn invisible. So Peter tells him to continue looking on the computer while he accepts the scientist is coming in with his Spidey charm. But she, the A dominatrix like bitch, because she quickly takes charge, realizing that he's a Spider-Man from a different dimension, runs him.
Just gonna pretend like nothing's going on?
You can make serious money designing and framing. Here's how. You can sell premium templates and keep 100% of the sale. Yep, all of it. On top of that, when that customer signs up for a paid plan, you get 50% of that revenue for the first year. And you can reach more people by creating free templates. And when they customize and upgrade, you get 50% of that revenue. Designing a new site for a client? Hand it off with a remix link and get 50% of that. Or
tests on him and tells him that if he doesn't return to his reality soon, his cells will disintegrate and he will die, which is something that she can't wait to watch. So he asks her what her name is and she's like, it's Olivia Octavius, and he realizes that it's a gender done with Doc Ock, and he's like, oh, fuck's sake, a Doc Ock with get periods. That's bloody fantastic. Meanwhile, Miles, who couldn't figure out Olivia's mess of a computer, decided to simply take the whole thing with the screen. Pretty sure Miles is smart enough to know that they don't need the screen, but it does lead to a pretty funny gag later on, so I'll let it pass. Anyway, Olivia unboxes her evil octopus suit and Peter fights her while Miles runs away, bumping into again on the way out. He barely has time to register that and keeps going. They evade the lift for a second, then run into a ton of scientists that turn out to be armed to the teeth, badass producer have a direct case of Stormtrooper aid. Pretty standard movie bullshit here. Anyway, Peter throws Miles one of his web slingers and tells him it's time to learn how to swing, buddy. At first he sucks at it, but then he gets the hang of it pretty quick with the lift right on his ass. Starts swinging away with Peter through the woods, but unfortunately he starts glitching right at that moment. They lose the PC, but then another Spider-Woman shows up to save them, knock out Liv, and get the PC back. And this spider female turns out to be none other than Gwyneth Stationery. She gives us her story, less similar but still same thing. And when she got to this dimension, her Spidey sense told her to go to Miles' new school to meet him, and now they're here. They take a bus back to the city and she tells them she knows where they can make another one of these goofy leaders, which is at Aunt May's place. They knock on the door and she immediately realizes that they're Spider people from a different dimension. They ask for help with the Goober, so she takes them out back to a shack where Peter used to plan out every attack. They go down to this secret entrance to a basement to a high-tech Spidey cave that's like a bat cave with a bunch of different suits for every single cage. I don't know how much any of that rhymes, but whatever. I'm not a fucking rapper, I'm a retard. Let me get back to my way. They're all amazed by this place, then Aunt May tells them that they're not the only spider bitches that thought to come here, introduces them to 3 more Spider-Fuckers. Black Noir Spider-Man that's voiced by Nicolas Cage. Oni-chan Asian bitch in the next suit, which is just beat up from Overwatch by Spider-Man. And a literal pig. Think Spider-Pig from the Simpsons movie, but this time he can't swing up from the web and he's Looney Tunes-ified. They all gloss over the origin stories of how they got here. They already know somehow that the Collider is the only way home, but the catcher's run has to stay behind in this reality and destroy the Collider after they all pass through their portals and make it home. Miles is like, guys, if you stay, we will die. This is my dimension, I will stay and I will do it. They question who he is. Peter starts helping him up, telling them that he has awesome powers that will help save them, but he can't control any of them that well yet. So they poke and prod at him to test how strong he is. Like, can you take a hit? Can you fight back? Can you stand your ground against big titty goth girl Goombay? They keep bullying him for a bit, then they take Peter's side to tell him that he might not have what it takes. So Miles gets sad and leaves, invisible, embarrassed, and depressed with his goes over to Uncle Aaron's place, all ignoring phone calls from his parents who are worried sick about him. Then while writing Aaron a letter, we see someone coming into the window and it turns out to be the Prowler talking to the Fisk/Kingpin on the phone. Miles finds invisible to avoid detection. Then Purple Group takes off his mask and approves himself to be Uncle Avon. Dun dun dun. So Miles, shocked and frustrated, tries to leave but makes some noise that Aaron hears, puts his mask back on and sees that someone is invisible and trying to leave through heat vision. So he follows him, chasing him down to the street on his bike, causing a massive crash that they survive, and lets someone away presumably to track him to a flowers like millions of other spider people who were able to make another copy of the movie. Just one. Personally, I would have made two and kept on a secret, backup, whatever. Another thing, why didn't Miles take his mask off and reveal himself to Aaron in his apartment? Pretty sure they're close enough so that when he does that, Aaron will stop him in his tracks and he can what he's doing. Doesn't it? The spider people made another goober. Miles goes to them in a panic, telling them about his uncle's doing, at which point they realize that he has indeed been followed. Kingpin's goons, Griffin, Doc Ock, Scorpion, and fucking zombie bodyguard guy. They start fighting the spider people. Eventually, the Prowler shows up and they play hot potato with the goober while destroying Aunt May's house. So the goober ends up with Miles. The Prowler chases him and is able to grab hold of him. So Miles takes off the mask, which emotionally stunlocks Aaron and stops him from hurting him any further. See, why couldn't you have done that earlier? You could have avoided so much trouble. Because Aaron gets shot by Kingpin after refusing to kill Miles. Peter knocks him away and tells Miles to get out of here. So he picks up Aaron's body and swings away to an alley where Aaron apologizes and tells him to be better than him, then bleeds out and dies just in time for his brother, aka Miles' father, to show up because he was in the area responding to a call about a Spidey disturbance. And when he sees the spider dude disappear leaving behind his brother's dead body, his hatred for Spider-Man only grows. Miles goes back to his dorm really angry and sad. The spider folks come to console him and comfort him, being the only people that understand what he's going through, then try and fail to hide from his roommate who passes out from shock when he sees them. I just realized something. If there are comic books of Spider-Man in this reality and Spider-Man really exists and they are accurate to his lore, then how far back and how much do they reveal? You know what I mean? Like, shouldn't they have doxed the location of Aunt May already? Or does she live somewhere else in the comics, in the Bronx? Does she even exist in the comics? You know what I mean? As a matter, Peter then ties Miles to his chair and takes a goober with him, telling him that he'll stay behind and destroy the Collider because no matter how bad he wants it, Miles is not ready for it. So he's like, when will I know I'm ready? Peter be like, you won't, it's a leap of faith. Then they all swing away, seemingly catching the rest to fucking nothing, although I'm sure it's just foggy and there are buildings over there. Then Miles' dad comes and knocks on the door to talk to him like, I can see your shadow, kid. I know you're still ignoring me, but I'm about to say some heartfelt shit, so you will listen up. He says some touchy-feely stuff and leaves, which awakens some shit in Miles, giving him more control over his powers. He yaps out of his webs, then goes over to Aunt May, who's like, I've been expecting you. She saw the outfit of the spider kid, you know, made him some web slings his size, and he made himself a custom suit. Then we get a short but awesome sequence of him taking that leap of faith, trusting himself, that controlling his powers, and finally becoming
Spider. This is your reminder to thank the friend who gets McDonald's breakfast for the group, while everyone else sleeps in.
Get 2 of your breakfast faves for just $5, only at McDonald's.
I'm always trying to be the best at what I do, trying to put my best foot forward. Everything I do, I'm gonna try to
I got my powers after fucking a radioactive spider thought.
Meanwhile, other spider bitches go to attack the Collider that is underneath Fisk Tower, where Kingpin is having a Spider-Man themed memorial ball dinner thing on the rooftop of the area penthouse place. I don't know what it's called, where all the waiters are wearing Spider-Man masks, so every dependent is put on bow ties. They still totally stick out like sore thumbs because they're wearing full-on spider suits, but it's a funny bit, so who cares? The real question is, where is Spider-Pig? The 3 humans are walking normally, Oni-chan and her mate are cosplaying as a people, but Spider-Ham is nowhere to be seen. I bet he's probably on one of those silver platters. If not, then it's a total missed opportunity for another funny bit, or whatever. MJ asks Peter for some bread, and he's doing it instead of her because, you know, he blew with his MJ, so he's like, I should have been better for you. She's like, it's okay, just bread. You deserve better. I will be better. Bro, it's just yeast. Relax. They drag him away, then follow Kingpin down the elevator shaft to the Collider. Kingpin turns it on and uses a sample of his family's dinner to search for them in a different reality and steal them, I think. The city starts vibrating and glitching all over. Peter and the Spider Gang try to go up to the control panel and plug in the goober, but they get stopped by Doc Ock and Kingpin's goons, and so starts a big-ass badass, colorful brawl between all of them, with all their dimensions merging and popping up in the middle of his collider. Miles joins in, only briefly using his invisibility. I don't know why he doesn't use it more often. Doesn't seem to drain his power or anything like that. And it's fucking overpowered as shit. Like, they literally cannot see you coming. Whatever, movie has to wait. Never mind, because this whole comic book fight action sequence, they're all impressed with Miles' abilities, continue to work together to defend each other. Only chance mech gets destroyed, Doc Ock gets hit by a truck, and they fend off all the rest of the goons. Miles plugs in the goober and takes control of the collider, selects everyone's reality, and sends them home one by one. They all say their funny, goofy, heartfelt goodbyes, except for Peter, because Kingpin shows up, so he wants to stay and help fight him off, but really he's just avoiding going back because he's afraid of the fuck shit up with MJ. So Miles tells him he has to go back and almost toss him into the portal. Peter be like, how do I know I'm not gonna mess it up? You won't. It's a leap of faith. Ah, I see what you did there, you JK bastard. Peter goes back to his dimension, and Miles is left to 1v1 this 1950s fridge build motherfucker. In this fight, Miles' powers falter for a bit, and Kingpin gets distracted by alternate versions of his dead family appearing in this one, similarly disgusted by his violent actions. They keep fighting, and eventually Kingpin gets the better of Miles, but then he sees his father standing in the control room. He got there because he's doing cop shit, obviously. This is his job to respond to this kind of stuff. He saw how hard Spider-Man was fighting to save the city, and started rooting for him, so spurred on by that, Miles regains control of his powers, zaps Kingpin away, then swings him into the green button on the control panel that shuts off the collider and destroys it. A move that is dumb as come in my opinion, because you see how big that motherfucker is, there's no way you hit only the green button. He probably destroyed the whole panel, making it unusable. Also, there's a small continuity error here, because Kingpin got nose bleeding one shot, then the movie disappeared. I'm gonna chalk that up to the chronological style of the movie. Anyway, the collider shuts off and destroys itself in very dramatic fashion, with the entire city going back to normal. Miles calls his father to make up with him, well, not make up with him, they're not fighting, but you know what I mean, they're Gucci. He doesn't even know what happened, only that eases up on the strictness with him, so he goes to hug him as Spider-Man, and always weirded out by that, or whatever, he's chill with Spider-Man now, so he's just like, okay. Miles settles in as the new Spider-Man. All the other Spider-Folk go on with their lives, and a portal opens up between Miles and Gwen, and the movie ends at that. No wait, we also get a post-credit scene looking towards the next movie while referencing some classic Spasinates. This movie gets 25 pigs out of 82 chinchillas.
Shop Popeyes for your living room, dining room, and bedroom starting at just $1.99 at Ashley's Labor Day sale going on now. Or for no interest until 2030 when you buy in store. Only at Ashley's.
We, the beef people of Winn-Dixie, are united to make more perfect barbecues. To amp up your flavors, to stock your block parties, and keep the good times going for all. We, the neighborhood butchers at Winn-Dixie, do declare our dedication to you and to keeping savory traditions alive for the next generations. We are Winn-Dixie. We are the beef people.
teleport there?
When your question is actually,
Hey, DK, you awake? Should we teleport there?
when your question is actually,
Hey, DK, you awake? Should we teleport there? Roller coaster.
when your question is actually,
Hey, DK, you awake? Should we teleport there? Roller coaster.
when your question is actually,
Wouldn't it be fun? Hey, DK, you awake? Should we teleport there? Wow, you were out in the light, DK. Roller coaster.
when your question is actually,
Wouldn't it be fun?